Today on For the Record.
Right after I won, first thing I said is, "I love you, Pittsburgh." It was the first thing in my mind.
He's an Olympic hero and wrestling star.
I always believed in myself. I never second guessed myself.
Now Kurt Angle opens up about his successes and his struggles.
I gave a lot to my sport and the business of pro wrestling, and I'm paying the price right now.
For the Record starts now. Welcome to For the Record. I'm Michelle Wright. This morning I go one-on-one with Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, WWE star, and Pittsburgher. He shares stories from his youth, from those incredible moments in the 1996 Olympic Games, and how he overcame a battle with addictions. Let's begin with a check on how he's doing these days. Why don't we just start with this? Tell me how your health is. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty healthy right now. I had to go through a lot of surgeries. I've had a really an injury-ridden career. Always been hurt. I had my knees replaced recently. I had 2 back surgeries. I had 5 neck surgeries, and I have to have my shoulders replaced. So I gave a lot to my sport and the business of pro wrestling, and I'm paying the price right now. So
I guess my question should be, was it worth it to you?
Some days I say yes, and some days I say no. At times I say maybe I should have retired 10 years earlier. But you know, I'm very proud of my career, and I do talk about it quite a bit. So it gives me something to talk about, but from a health standpoint, it wasn't that good for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well.
Yeah.
That's a really good update. Let's start at the beginning. You're from Mount Lebanon. You went to Clarion University. You grew up here in the City of Champions, right at the epitome of all of our championships. You wanted to be a champion, and you decided to go for Olympic gold.
Well, being from the City of Champions, it gave me inspiration. You know, I wanted to be like Franco Harris or Terry Bradshaw or Mario Lemieux. I wanted to have that kind of impact, and being from the city of Pittsburgh, we were kind of spoiled. You know, we had the Pirates winning the World Series a couple of times in the 70s, the Super Bowls for the Steelers, 4 of those. You know, the Stanley Cup during the 1990s was incredible for the Penguins. So I wanted to make an impact the way I could, and it was in the sport of wrestling. And the reason why I got involved in wrestling is because my brothers did, and I followed their path, and that's how I became a wrestler.
We all watched the Olympics, 96, right?
Yeah.
And you were there. We were all rooting for you. You won the gold. Did you feel the city of Pittsburgh and all of our support we were sending along to you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, right after I won, first thing I said is, "I love you, Pittsburgh." It was the first thing in my mind, because I knew that, you know, I came from the City of Champions, and I made my home city proud.
You did.
Yeah.
You had a broken neck, which I did not know was going on as I was watching you in the Olympics. Tell me about that, and was there ever a time when you thought you wouldn't be able to wrestle for the gold?
Well, the day I broke my neck, it was at the U.S. Open, the first round of the Olympic trials. I was wrestling in the semifinals, and I was having a great tournament. And I got thrown on my head, and I broke my neck, and I didn't know it at the time. And my neck was in excruciating pain. My arms went completely numb. I couldn't feel my hands. And I had to continue to wrestle, and I wrestled through the semifinals. And then later on that day, my neck was killing me by the time the finals came around. And I had to wrestle in the finals, and I barely won the finals, so I won the first round of the Olympic trials with my neck broken. And I went home the next day, and I went to my doctor, and he took an MRI of my neck, and he said, "Listen, you have 4 broken vertebrae in your neck, and you have 2 discs sticking directly in your spinal cord, and your spinal cord is badly bruised." He said, "You can't wrestle anymore." And I was devastated. And so, me being the stubborn person I am, I went to another doctor to get a second opinion. And this doctor basically said the same thing, but he also said, "When is the next round of the Olympic trials?" I said, 6 weeks. And he said, "You know what, I might be able to get you ready by then." I said, "What's your plan?" He said, "Well, You're not going to be able to train much up until then. You're going to have to let your neck rest and heal. And it won't be entirely healed by then, but it'll be healed enough that you'll be able to go. You'll be able to still go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick 12 different shots of Novocaine all throughout your neck. Therefore, you won't feel the pain. He did this 5 minutes before each one of my matches. He said, you won't feel the pain, you'll forget your neck is broken, and you'll wrestle more freely. You'll forget about your neck. And it worked. But he warned me, he said, an hour after your matches are over, you're going to be in excruciating pain from the abuse your neck takes during those matches. He said, are you okay with that? And I said, yes, and the rest is history. I won the Olympic gold medal.
Talking about your training for that, it was intense, and I know you spent some time at Foxcatcher, which we've all learned. There was a tragedy there. The owner of that compound training for these wrestling champions, DuPont, murdered who you viewed as a father figure to you, your coach.
He was my coach, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
That was tough. Dave was the best coach I've ever had the opportunity to work with. He knew 7 different languages because he wanted to learn technique from other parts of the world. He wanted to learn the Russian technique for wrestling, the Iranian technique. So he educated himself to learn the languages so he could work with these guys. And he became not just the best wrestler of all time. In my eyes, he was the best wrestler of all time. But I mean, I always thought Dave Schultz was a god, to be honest with you. And but he taught me so much. And losing him at that particular time, that was, I believe, in January of 1996, 6 months before the Olympics. And losing him was really tough. I didn't have a coach, and so I went, but I will tell you that Dave taught me enough to know what I had to do from there on in, so I kind of coached myself, and it worked extremely well. But losing him was really tough, and then on top of that, a couple months later, I broke my neck. And it was like, what else is going to happen? And so I was pretty down, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to compete.
I'd like you to share maybe what you've learned from that. How did you mentally get through that? I know a lot of our viewers are struggling with various issues, and maybe you could share some words of inspiration on how you dealt with it and made it through.
Well, a lot of prayer, a lot of hard work. I couldn't wrestle to train for the Olympics because of my neck, but I could do certain things. And what I did is I made the most out of what I could. I did a lot of conditioning. I did a lot of weight training where I didn't affect my neck. I did whatever I could possible to make, I threw all my cards on the table and said, this is what I have to do and this is what I have to get done. And I stayed dedicated. I stayed true to myself, and I always believed in myself. I never second guessed myself. And I look back now and I'm like, wow, man, that was quite a journey. A
lot of people would have given up.
A lot of people would have given up, yeah. And but you know what? I felt like my dad was living inside me.
And
I
you lost
my
your dad
in
at
high
16,
school. Yeah.
right?
And he's the one that motivated me to be the best in the world. And he was a father that didn't speak a lot, but what was important to him was sports. He was really into sports. He loved sports. He wanted all of us to be involved in sports, and he never missed any of our sporting events. I mean, this guy worked 12 hours a day in construction, and if we had an event earlier in the day and he had to leave work early, he would leave early to watch our event. He never missed any of our wrestling events, football events, baseball events, basketball events. He showed up for everything, so I knew sport was really important to him. So I knew when I was going for the Olympics, whether I had a broken neck or not, I was going to go all the way to the end, and I wasn't going to quit.
Still ahead on For the Record, Kurt Angle opens up about his addiction and the phone call that changed everything. Welcome back to For the Record as we continue my conversation with wrestling star Kurt Angle, including some insight about his career in the WWE, particularly in the late 90s and early 2000s, as well as his growing addiction that later threatened to derail his life. I should ask you, how much of pro wrestling is fake and staged, and how much is real athleticism?
Well, the athleticism, you can tell if somebody's athletic or not. You know, if they're flying around the ring and doing incredible things. But the part that's real is the slamming, getting slammed. You're getting slammed on plywood. Okay, so it's like someone hitting you from behind in a car going 80 miles an hour when you take a bump. When I first took my bump, my first bump ever, when I tried out, I got up and I said, I'm not doing this. This is self-mutilation. I left. I left the arena. I went back to my hotel. I quit, and my manager, Dave Hawk, he came back and said, listen, what's wrong? I said, I'm not doing that. I said, I broke my neck in the Olympics, and I just took one bump, and it hurt worse than when I broke my neck. I said, I'm not going to do that. And he said, well, listen, just go tomorrow, see how it goes. Just try to stay through the whole practice. He said, can you just do one practice? So I went back the next day and I did the whole practice, and I ended up bumping 300 times. And so what I'm saying is the bumping in the ring, that stuff, the clotheslines, the contact, that's all real. What's fake is we know what we're going to do before we do it. So if someone wants to put me in a headlock and take me over and bring me down to the mat, he's gonna say that before the match starts. I'm gonna put you in a headlock, take you over, then we're gonna get up, I'll shoot you off, you give me a tackle, that means a shoulder bump where I bump in the plywood, and then I'll give you a suplex. All that's predetermined. So, and we know that the finish is already predetermined as well. So
there's acting involved.
There's acting, yeah. There's acting, and
but
there's also real sport, yeah.
And you did get injured.
It's sport and entertainment combined.
But you did get injured.
Oh, more than I did in pro wrestling or amateur wrestling. Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I had both knees surgery. I broke my neck 4 more times in WWE. I was hobbled with a lot of injuries throughout my career.
What kept making you get back into that ring?
Well, the desire of doing it. I loved it. I loved pro wrestling. It was a new passion of mine. I absolutely loved going out there and performing for the fans. And it became addictive. And, and at the point where I started to deteriorate, my body started, getting really beat up, and it led me to painkillers and the whole ball of wax. So,
well, let's talk about that for a bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would understand with all the injuries you had, you started taking painkillers, but then that became an addiction as well that was very hard to overcome. Can you share with us a little bit about that?
Well, for the first time in my life, I was introduced to painkillers by a doctor. After I broke my neck the second time, this doctor prescribed me medication, and he told me, take one every 4 to 6 hours, and this will help you deal with your pain. So I started taking them, and immediately, I'd say about 3 weeks later, they weren't working anymore. And I realized that your body builds a tolerance to them. So one's not enough anymore. Then you have to start taking 2. Then 2 led to 4, 4 led to 8. Before I knew it, I was taking 65 extra strength Vicodin in a day.
A day?
Yeah, enough to kill a horse. I mean, it was really, really bad. And it didn't, and I was getting injured, so I was getting injured over and over again, so that didn't help with the painkiller problem. So, I will tell you this, painkillers are dangerous, they're addictive, and they can kill you. And I'll explain why. I already explained why. I was taking 65 a day. And so I, at a certain point in time, I knew I had to get out of the WWE. And that's when I decided to leave the WWE, because I had a serious painkiller problem and also was injured so many times.
A lot of our viewers are either having an addiction to opioids, or they have a family member that are addicted. And I think when they look at you and say, if Kurt Angle can get addicted to painkillers, not be able to control himself, it can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. It happened to me, and I never thought in a million years it would. I've never taken painkillers. I never took one in my life. And the thing is, there are certain individuals though that when they get that drug in their system, it's like, whoa, that feels really good. You know, I'm one of those people, and I know that. So I know I'm an addict, and I know I can't take that stuff anymore. That's imperative. I know that for sure. But you know, having all those injuries and the painkiller problem, I ended up, I begged the WWE to let me go. They didn't want to let me go. And I begged them to let me go because I didn't.
Get into rehab?
Yeah, to get into rehab, and also to see what my options were, because when you're signed with WWE, you can't do anything else. So I wanted to see what my options could be after the WWE. So I decided that when they released me, I didn't go to rehab. I went to a doctor that gave me a different medication to wean off of painkillers. And basically he gave me a product called MS Contin. And that's a really powerful drug. It's a morphine. But what it does is it gets you away from the painkillers. What's the painkillers made out of? I forget what the word is. No. But what painkillers are, Vicodin or Percocet. But this new drug, MS Contin, I only had to take one a day. And it didn't give you any high effect or anything like that. So I started taking that, and I ended up going to TNA Wrestling. I signed a contract with them because they gave me a limited schedule where I had to work part-time. And I thought this would be good. I could still do what I love to do and not have to do so much of it. And so I started doing that there, and what happened was I switched from painkillers to drinking alcohol. And that's what an addict does. He switches from one drug to another. This is what I learned as an addict. So I started drinking excessively, and I was making horrible decisions, things that I never thought I would do in a million years. Whenever we would be done with a show, TNA would be done with a show in a certain city, and I would go to the store and I'd grab a 12-pack of beer, and I would drive back to my hotel and drink the 12-pack of beer and pass out. And but after a year or so, I got so reckless and out of control and irresponsible that what I started to do is I would go to the store after the show, I'd grab the 12-pack of beer and drink it while driving to the next town. What that got me was 4 DUIs in 5 years. My life spun out of control. I lost my reputation. Everything I worked for, I was at the lowest point in my life. I remember calling my wife from jail after my 4th DUI, and she said, I can't do this anymore. You either go to rehab or I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving. I don't want to lose my wife, my kids, but I'm not going to lie to you. I loved my addiction. It was my baby, but I love my wife and kids more. So I knew what I had to do. So I decided to go to rehab, and that's when I became clean and sober, and I've been clean and sober for almost 14 years now.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your story.
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of people
I hope
listening.
it helps anybody or somebody out there that's going through it. I went through it, and I know how hard it is, but it's possible that you could get clean.
Keep it here. After the break, I asked Kurt Angle a key question about his legacy. Welcome back to For the Record. One of the final things I spoke about with Kurt Angle was how he thinks he'll be remembered one day. Listen to what he had to say.
I want to be remembered as a person that cared about other people. I've always been caring of other people and how people feel about me. You know, I've never been a rude or, you know, I've always been very cordial with people, and I've always got along with people. And I want to be remembered as not only a great wrestler and a great athlete, one of the greatest athletes in the history of Pittsburgh, obviously, but I also want to be remembered as a good man and a very nice man. And you know, I guess what I'm saying is, I just want to be known as a really good person. Honestly, that's just it. You know, I want people to know that I cared about them, and I cared about what they were going through, and because you know what, a lot of people did that for me. You know, a lot of people opened their arms when I didn't deserve it, and they were always accepting of me, and I want to be that same person.
And after the break, I'll tell you when you can learn more about what's next for Kurt Angle. Welcome back to For the Record. Thank you for joining me for this in-depth sit-down with wrestling superstar Kurt Angle. I want to invite you to join us on Pittsburgh's Action News 4 Monday at noon. That's when you'll see more of my conversation with Angle, including some brand new details about the movie that's in the works about his life and who he thinks might end up playing him on the big screen. Until then, thank you for joining us. Have a good week.